Awesome.
I'm 33 years old.
33.
I'm a two-time combat vet for the war in Iraq. I was medically retired out of the Army as a Sergeant E5 after I got blown up on my last deployment doing convoy security. I've been out for 4 or 5 years now. And I've been a stay-at-home dad taking care of my kids ever since they were born. Yesterday started out pretty much like any other day. There was a little bit of excitement because the vehicle that my daughter died in, we were supposed to be trading in for another vehicle yesterday, a 2008 Chevy Avalanche. And my kids were really excited because they were thinking they were going to get to go, and leave the house, or as they would put it, they were going to get to go bye-bye. But they got up in the morning, ate breakfast, and came outside and played because a couple days ago it rained, and they'd been cooped up in the house and never outdoors kids.
Right.
And so they came outside, and I was outside with them. And, they ran around the yard playing Dora the Explorer. They even tried to run off into the woods a couple of times, like she does on the cartoon. I had to yell at them and tell them to stay in the yard a couple of times because of it. And lunchtime came around, they came in the house, I fed them something to eat, and then we came back outside after they were done eating, maybe an hour later. I can't be accurate on times. What happened was my kids generally put themselves down for a nap, especially when they've been outside playing a lot, and especially on a warm day. And they came into the house, they started playing in their room quietly, and then they both wrapped up in their blankets and laid down. And I thought they went to sleep, so I figured I had time to go do some chores in the house. I was in the back of the house doing laundry and straightening things up. And in between loads of laundry, I'd go sit on my bed, which is the next room over from them. And because from my room, I can always hear them when they start getting up and moving around. And so I thought they were asleep, and I thought I had time to do some chores and didn't have to worry about them. And I came outside to have a cigarette, and my fiance's little brother came out and asked me when the last time I'd actually seen my kids was, and I told him it was about an hour, and both of us immediately got up and started looking for them, just because anytime you're a parent and
Right.
somebody brings up the fact that you haven't seen or heard your kids in a little while, you go look for them. And so we checked the house. They weren't in their room. They weren't anywhere in the house. We checked all the rooms in the house, all the places that they like to hide and get into things, and we couldn't find them. So my first thought was because they'd tried to go into the woods around the house playing earlier, that's what they might have done. And there's a trail that runs out behind the house that we'd taken them on a few times. And so he took off down one direction of the trail, I took off down the other direction, screaming and yelling for them. We couldn't find them. I made it back up to the yard pretty quickly, and I saw the truck, and I immediately thought, the worst. I had a bad feeling, so I ran over to the truck, and I saw my kids laying apparently unconscious in the back of the truck. And I tried to open the doors, they were locked, so I had to run into the house, grab the car keys, come out, unlock the doors. I grabbed my oldest first because she was laying on the back seat with her eyes open in a puddle of vomit. And so I grabbed her, she was burning hot. I ran her over next to the pool right here, trying to cool her off a little bit without throwing her into shock. And then I ran back over to the vehicle, and I grabbed my youngest girl, and she kind of moaned and fought against me as I was trying to pull her out of the vehicle. So I ran her up here to the porch and laid her on the cool concrete in the shade, and then came over and I checked my oldest daughter's responses to see if she was in shock or breathing or had a pulse, and I couldn't find anything. Her eyes were wide open, her pupils wouldn't dilate, her capillary response was negative. Like I said, I couldn't find a pulse, heartbeat, or breathing.
So you called 911
I called 911. My phone got wet and died, or overheated and died during the 911 call, so all I was able to do was give them my address and tell them that, I'd found my kids in the vehicle unresponsive. And then I started doing rescue breathing on my daughter, trying to, keep her alive, or at least give her a chance to come back. I'm a two-time combat vet. I've seen death. I've nearly been dead myself a few times. And when I looked at my daughter, I knew. In my mind, I knew. But my heart and soul made me hope that they could revive her. I was just trying to keep her going, keep oxygen in her until she could get help. Normally we would have had the vehicles locked, because it wasn't the first time they ever tried to get into the vehicles and play, especially when they thought we were going somewhere. Because they'd always get excited when they thought they were going to get to go somewhere. And so normally we kept the vehicles locked because of it, because a while back they'd done the same thing, but it was late fall, early winter. Definitely took after me and their mother, because they were very outdoors. They liked to climb trees, they liked to go explore things, especially places they knew they weren't supposed to be.